Queen. Queen 1. We call it Queen 1 now because they had another album called Queen 2. Back then, it was just Queen. This is Queen's debut album, released in 1973. And what's really interesting to me as I listen back to this is that Queen, in some ways, seems like they jumped from the head of Zeus fully formed. On this album, you have all the things that are characteristically Queen sounds. The stacked vocals, the orchestrated guitars, all these components that are absolutely essential to what people hear when they listen to Queen's music are there. But at the same time, paradoxically, you see them in sort of this embryonic state where the songs that they have out there they're great, but they're just not as memorable or as ear friendly as some of the later work. Even though they had work later on that was more complex, a little more identifiably progressive rock, that stuff was still pretty memorable. And although all the songs here are really great and amazing tunes, they kind of slip through your fingers in some ways. And I think the sort of sonic maturity that Queen had the benefit of having from the outset is due in no small part to sort of this constellation of patrons that they had early on in their career. They were kind of in a way discovered by a set of producers, Roy Thomas Baker and John Anthony. These guys were so impressed by Queen's performance capacity, they contacted their friend Norman Sheffield to allow them to have some studio time. Norman Sheffield allowed him to use Trident Studios after hours rather than normal recording time. So the creative team could get in there and had a little bit more elbow room to experiment and innovate and find things to go together. And even so, even with that creative group in there, there was still some difficulties. Queen would record their songs, they wouldn't be satisfied with it, which shows their high standards they had even at the outset of their own career. But when the engineer Mike Stone stepped in to complete the team, things started to pop into place. And the sounds they wanted really started to align themselves with what they saw in their own potential. So what you see here is that even though Queen was discovered, they were just as much constructed. And they used this initial construction of their sound, and they carried it throughout their entire career, all the way up through the end of their career. All the characteristics you see of Queen happening here at the beginning were in place. It gave them a really big jump start for a career arc that would take them a very, very long way and make them probably one of the most revered and memorable bands from the 70s.